For once, let's face it, is Mayor Tiffany Henyard the true victim in this case? Or is there another, more complex tale going on behind the scenes? She wanders around Dalton smiling confidently, posing as the innocent victim of political attacks. But is she the victim? Or is there more to the story? The FBI is now involved and is looking into whether Tiffany has been squandering public monies for a portion of the time. She is the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. And she also holds the influential position of Thornton Township Supervisor. Two significant leadership positions held by one ambitious lady. Someone's attempt to undermine her. But we've investigated the situation, and believe us, there are more twists in this tale than the conclusion of a reality show. To put it simply, Tiffany Henyard is a multifaceted politician who thrives in her position as mayor of Dalton, where she is in charge of basic local government duties like trash collection, road upkeep, and ensuring the town runs smoothly. In her capacity as Thornton Township Supervisor, she also handles social services, assisting locals with their power bills, paying for funerals, and allocating aid to the neighborhood. The problem is that she is using government funds for all of this. And don't be fooled, it's a lucrative profession. Dalton was well known for its small-town charm, parades, community festivals, and sense of neighborliness prior to Tiffany's appointment in 2021. Not everyone likes the attention she is receiving now that she is in the spotlight. Furthermore, although her breast cancer charity appears commendable on paper, many people are raising their suspicions when it is revealed that she was utilizing government cash. This is because she earns over $2,000 a year, which is a lot more than most Dalton residents will make in 5 years. Even the term super mayor is used by some, although not in a positive manner. Public praise gave way to mistrust run it. Charities do require funding, but should the public coffers be used for this purpose? While Tiffany has been juggling her 2 jobs, the town's finances have suffered greatly. And Dalton is now dealing with a $2 million deficit, not spare change, but a severe financial crisis. As the debate continues, more and more people are questioning, is she really working for people or just for herself? Despite Tiffany's insistence that both of her jobs are essential and valid, Tiffany's every move is being monitored by investigators using electronic surveillance, financial audits, and advanced equipment. They are not just looking at her personal spending, but also her political fund, charitable funds, and even her private business transactions. They are thoroughly examining Tiffany's financial transactions to determine how she has been using public monies. And they are not just paying her a visit. As if things couldn't get much messier, the plan thickens. And Tiffany's right-hand man, Ace Freeman, has already been Tiffany, who is accused of bankruptcy fraud and is allegedly cooperating with authorities, is trying to maintain her composure. She asserts that the high degree of protection around her is a reaction to threats she has received, not a sign that she is concealing anything. But let's be honest, the FBI doesn't appear out of the blue. Why is Tiffany's security detail in the news? Let's dissect that. There are about 45 police officers in Dalton. Here's what Tiffany wants people to know. Despite her claims that her personal security detail is warranted because of real threats to her life, Tiffany explains that her desire for security is not a fabricated statement. When questioned about the number of cops on her detail, she refuses to cite safety concerns, but she is adamant that if it is in the CBA, it is lawful and she is not breaking any laws. She really went to court to defend her right to security, and the judge granted her request. The most significant query is if Tiffany is merely safeguarding herself or concealing anything. As if she says that all of the security is required for her safety, then the obvious inference is, what precisely is it protected from? The FBI's search was broader. It's not just Dalton that's hot these days. The FBI has reportedly been talking to local company owners, political insiders, and former employees. But not all of them have much to say. According to others, Tiffany has been abusing her political influence to single out detractors and punish those who oppose her financially or with votes, although her credit card records indicate otherwise. Henyard maintains her innocence. The situation becomes even more complicated because, according to insiders, Tiffany is allegedly utilizing those credit cards for personal spending in addition to official work. The costs are being charged to township credit cards rather than Tiffany's personal accounts. And the city is having trouble keeping its lights on. Yes, the bills are being paid by the taxpayers, although the employment may come with certain benefits. It's not about the odd dinner or hotel room rather. It's about thousands of dollars being spent on opulent vacations, fine dining, and upscale services that are all funded by public monies. Theobald Blitz, she treats the town's checkbook as if it were her own little piggy bank, giving the impression that she has a VIP pass to it. Let's now discuss the billboards. You might anticipate seeing public ads in Dalton neighborhood activities or services, but guess who is paying for them? The taxpayers. The issue is that it is illegal in Illinois to use public monies for self-promotion. But Tiffany doesn't appear to care about the law based on her actions. Here we are. A miscommunication about Tiffany Henyard Boldware. Is she utilizing her personal ATM in her office? The town is discussing it. The FBI is keeping an eye on it, and it may soon become a national scandal. A policy issue, to put it. In perspective, the city of New Orleans has a municipal regulation that forbids officials from going first class. But Dalton does not have this rule. Tiffany has not made a commitment when asked if Dalton should have a specific policy on trip expenditures. Critics argue that, as a public servant, she should establish stringent rules and set an example to guarantee that taxpayer funds are used sensibly because, ultimately, it's not simply about what one leader's perks are all. Spout is the public's confidence that their funds are being spent for the sake of the community rather than for extravagant lifestyles and private gain. One thing, as clear as the inquiry goes forward, Dalton and Tiffany Henyard's political futures are on the line. Stay tuned because this story will only get hotter. Is Tiffany the true victim, or is there another factor at play? Let's be honest, is Tiffany the actual victim in this situation, or is there much more going on behind the scenes? Tiffany is the talk of the town, and she's not just Dalton's mayor. She also serves as Thornton Township supervisor, two crucial leadership roles for a single-driven woman. Now that the FBI is engaged, Tiffany is accused of engaging in some dubious actions, using public cash. This story has more turns than a reality show finale, despite Tiffany's denials that it's all a setup to bring her down. Let's begin. In addition to her various responsibilities, Tiffany also fixes roads, helps locals pay their electricity bills, and oversees social services. Dalton was well known for his small-town charm and community events prior to Tiffany taking over in 2021. Now that she holds both jobs, she is cutting checks and paying for funerals using government funds, which she is not doing for free. Naturally, people are wondering if she has too much power in one person, since this is more than the majority of Alton residents will see in 5 years. Critics claim that she isn't doing any of it well and has overextended herself. Her breast cancer charity followed, which is commendable, but as word got out that taxpayer the admiration quickly gave way to skepticism over whether or not public funds should be used for charitable causes, even though they clearly need money. While Dalton's finances have fallen apart and the town is facing a $2 million deficit, not spare change. But a crisis, Tiffany has been taking on two roles. Tiffany insists that both of her positions are essential and valid in spite of this. But with the issue swirling, people are starting to wonder if she is working for herself or for other people. The FBI are in town this week, and they aren't coming for a social call. Instead, they have been looking into Tiffany's financial activities and monitoring how she as if it couldn't get any messier. Keith Freeman enters the scene. Freeman, Tiffany's former right-hand guy, is allegedly now assisting authorities after being charged with bankruptcy fraud. Tiffany, meanwhile, is attempting to maintain her composure in the face of mayhem by asserting that the security surrounding her is a result of threats she has received rather than anything she is concealing. She is using public funds, and they are investigating not just her marital budget, but also her political fund, charity, and even her commercial activities. Let's break it down. The FBI doesn't just show up without a reason. Tiffany asserts that she didn't make up and that she even went to court over it, with the judge siding with her. We have about 45 officers in our village, and my security is warranted due to the fact of threats and things of that nature. What people aren't saying is that it's in our collective bargaining agreement, our union contract, so it comes with a seat. But the true question is Tiffany hiding something, or is she just defending herself? Given Dalton's mounting debt, we have to wonder what precisely she is shielding herself from if she says the security is for protection. Sources claim that Tiffany has been utilizing those credit cards for both personal and commercial obligations. She uses the town's checkbook as though it were her own little piggy bank, as if she had a VIP pass to it. Yes, there may be certain benefits associated with the job, but they go beyond the occasional meal or hotel room. You would also expect to see billboards advertising local services or events. Rather, we are discussing thousands of dollars spent on repeated extravagant trips against SCA that are funded by public monies. Yes, Tiffany's face is everywhere. And you know who's paying for the self-advertising campaign? The taxpayers. Although using public monies for self-promotion is illegal in the state, Tiffany seems to disregard the law based on her actions. Is Tiffany utilizing her office as a personal ATM, or is she just being audacious and misinterpreted? The town is discussing it, the feds are keeping an eye on it, and it appears like this small town issue is set to go nationwide. People will take anyone, especially those at the top, in my opinion. But Tiffany needs to remember who she works for. I'm all for giving folks the benefit of the doubt. But right is right and wrong is wrong at some point, and it's starting to seem like priorities have been lost in this situation. Some claim that Tiffany is totally out of touch and question how she can defend her extravagant spending when the folks of Dalton are struggling to make ends meet and put food on the table. It's not just about Tiffany's actions, it's also about her inaction. Tiffany is more concerned with upholding her reputation and personal comfort than with getting down to business. Despite Dalton's dilapidated infrastructure, underfunded schools, and financial imbalance, she seems to be living in a fantasy world where money grows on trees and budgets are irrelevant. As if she is living on thin ice. The FBI isn't buying it, at least not yet. Despite Tiffany's insistence that everything she has done is lawful and that criticism is just political assaults. Furthermore, although Tiffany's breast cancer charity may appear to be a nice thing, on paper, public funds are being used. In the end, people are connecting the dots and posing the challenging questions because federal investigators are circling and new accusations are being made almost daily. Managing a town requires prioritizing its citizens. Tiffany asserts that she is a victim and that charges lawsuits. And the FBI are all a part of a political plot to destroy her. Is it merely a means for her to escape accountability, or is it actually a scheme to silence her? Tiffany defended everything, claiming it was part of her profession. When people criticized her for her extravagant spending and first-class trips, don't believe that Tiffany is the only person affected by this disaster. The major character is Keith Freeman, her former right-hand guy, who she turns to for everything from credit card swipes to opulent vacations. The catch is that Freeman is currently employed by the FBI. Freeman is being used by Tiffany's defense team to argue that she was a naive newcomer who depended too much on him to manage the money. Isn't that convenient? However, that approach has a major flaw. Freeman is collaborating with investigators and isn't remaining silent. And Tiffany might be in trouble if he finds out where financial skeletons are hidden. Some people think she's trying to rescue herself by putting him in danger. But that's a dangerous strategy because the innocent mayor argument may be rapidly undermined if Freeman spills tea and shows receipts. Wasn't merely a low-level worker. He was her right-hand man and was involved in all of the significant expenditures. In the end, how can you manage a community and not know where millions of dollars are going? Tiffany might be dealing with much more than simply political reaction. If his word is used against hers and there is proof to back it up. People talk because you're the mayor, but who is really carrying out the work? People are always at the top, in my opinion, and the naysayers usually try to undermine the hardworking people. The problem is that while the people in Dalton are having difficulties, Tiffany Henyard has forgotten who she is meant to be working for. Tiffany is living the good life, pay their expenses, and put food on the table. Her face is splashed all over town as she talks about first-class flights, upscale hotels, elegant dinners, and billboards. Isn't the only topic of conversation, though? People are also discussing what Tiffany isn't doing with the town's funds. Tiffany appears more focused on maintaining her reputation and comfort than taking initiative. Despite Dalton's actual issues such as deteriorating infrastructure, budget shortfalls, and underfunded schools, to be honest, I'm all for granting people the benefit of the doubt, but it's starting to appear that priorities have been lost in this situation. Some claim that Tiffany is totally out of touch and question how she could defend her extravagant spending given Dalton's unstable financial status. For the rest of Dalton, every dollar matters, but it seems like she lives in a fantasy world where money grows on trees. Tiffany is doubling down in the meantime, claiming innocence, rejecting criticism as political attacks, and saying that everything she does is legal. But let's be clear about the FBI's involvement. The residents of Dalton are wondering if the funds are going towards self-promotion campaigns and luxury benefits or towards pothole repairs and after-school programs. The Charity for Breast Cancer, a publicity stunt. Not to mention Tiffany's breast cancer charity, which appears to be a wonderful thing on paper, but again involves public funds, making people question whether this is genuinely helpful to the community or just another method for Tiffany to boost her reputation. Tiffany claims, even though she is being unfairly singled out and has not changed her account or offered an apology. People are drawing parallels and raising tough concerns that cannot be ignored as federal investigators follow up and public pressure grows. Tiffany's assertion that she needs 24-hour security and bodyguards because her life is in jeopardy is one of her most egregious transgressions. People are questioning for her to live extravagantly on public funds, and where the proof is, she claims that the employment, upscale travel, five-star hotels, and pricey meals are all essential. But the issue is that she can't find the documents and receipts that verify it's real. According to Tiffany's version of events, the trustees are obstructing progress while she is attempting to assist the people. Is this a cop-out or a conspiracy? Tiffany alleges that the FBI orchestrated a plot to have her fired. But let's be honest, the FBI doesn't just show up for no reason, and the lawsuits aren't only rumors. Keith Freeman, her former right-hand guy, is in the news again. He used to be her go-to man for everything, including swiping township credit cards beside her, going to upscale dinners, and going on costly excursions. He is now sharing information regarding Tiffany's spending patterns, her use of public monies, and the behind-the-scenes turmoil that nobody anticipated because he is being charged with bankruptcy fraud and has decided to work with the FBI. The surprise is that Freeman is actually being used by Tiffany's legal team to defend her. It's trying to paint Tiffany as a clueless newcomer who greatly depended on Freeman to manage the town's finances. It sounds convenient that they say she didn't make the financial calls he made, but the issue is that Freeman is cooperating with the FBI and doesn't give up quickly. Tiffany might be in big trouble if he really knows where the financial skeletons are buried. Let's now discuss the Tiffany has been bragging about how much money she has raised for Dalton. It's claiming to have gotten back $15 million in grants and large funding. But why is Dalton still in debt? Why is there a $2 million shortfall? And why are people not seeing results if Tiffany is really making all that money? The figures are, although the town's books are heavily in debt, Tiffany wants to be recognized for her financial prowess. As roads are collapsing, the deficit is growing, bills aren't being paid yet, and Tiffany is out here living like royalty, going on extravagant trips, dining at upscale restaurants, and flashing her face on billboards. Residents are left wondering if the $15 million backdoor is real, or if it's just a figure used to deflect attention from Dalton's growing problems. It sounds great to bring in $15 million, but what good is it if the residents of Dalton aren't affected? According to Tiffany, the criticism is merely a smear effort. And some Dalton members are genuinely believing it. Team Tiffany and Team Accountability are split up in the town. She is being sued by 3 workers who say she fired them for defying her directives to conceal public data or penalize local business owners who opposed her. The FBI are not merely observing. They are actively investigating, going through Tiffany's receipts and keeping tabs on every dollar she has spent. People who bike hard for her, attend meetings, support her online, stick by her, would have formed a sizable fan base. The evidence is growing, and more people are questioning whether anyone is still buying her products, despite her claims that this is all a political hit piece meant to undermine her. Don't write Tiffany off just yet. She might face serious consequences, such as losing her job and potentially facing criminal charges, if the lawsuits move forward and the FBI discovers something reliable. Tiffany has turned the mayor's office into a stage with her costume-themed board meetings and social media shenanigans, and whether you like her or not, there's no denying that everyone is watching the actual drama starting.